The dust of the arena settled, but the sting of their words lingered. Clara adjusted her worn leather chaps, the whispers of the other ranchers following her like a shadow. "Look at her," one sneered. "Thinks she can compete with us on that. Wild thing." He gestured towards Blaze, her Mustang, whose fiery coat matched his untamed spirit. Blaze wasn't a pedigreed quarter horse like the others. He was a creature of the open plains, a symbol of everything these buttoned-up, traditional cowboys disdained. Clara's heart pounded. She wasn't just here to compete. She was here to prove them all wrong. It had been a long road to get to the prestigious Silver Creek Cutting Championship. Clara had inherited her family's struggling ranch after her father's passing. The land was her lifeblood, but debts were piling up. Winning the championship wasn't just about pride. The prize money was her only hope of saving her home, while her neighbors invested in expensive, blue-blooded horses. Clara had poured her heart into a scruffy Mustang she de-rescued from a Bureau of Land Management holding pen. She saw a flicker of greatness in his intelligent eyes, a raw, untamed talent that others dismissed as untrainable. Her father's words echoed in her mind. "A true horseman listens to the horse. Clara, they'll tell you everything you need to know." So she listened. For months, they worked together from sunrise to sunset. It wasn't about breaking his spirit, but about building a partnership. She learned his language of twitches and snorts, and he learned to trust her gentle guidance. They became a single entity, moving with a synchronicity that felt like dancing. But here, in this arena of judgment, their bond was seen as a weakness. The announcer's voice boomed, calling her name. Clara took a deep breath, stroking Blaze's neck. "It's just us, boy." Just like at home, the crowd's skepticism was a physical weight. As she rode into the pen, a wave of muttering and quiet laughter washed over her. The cattle were released. They were a nervous, jittery bunch, ready to scatter. The objective of cutting is to separate a single cow from the herd and keep it isolated, a task requiring incredible agility, intelligence, and a deep understanding between horse and rider. The other competitors, with their polished gear and champion bloodlines, had made it look effortless, earning polite applause. Now, all eyes were on the girl with the Mustang. Clara focused, her gaze locking onto a single heifer at the edge of the herd. She gave Blaze the slightest cue, a subtle shift of her weight, and then something magical happened. Blaze sprang into action. He wasn't just a horse. He was a living current of energy. He dropped low, his body almost parallel to the ground, mirroring the heifer's every move. When the cow darted left, Blaze was already there. When it tried to double back, he anticipated it, cutting it off with a fluid grace that was breathtaking to watch. The laughter in the stands died, replaced by a stunned silence. This wasn't the clumsy, wild horse they had expected. This was poetry in motion. Blaze moved with an instinctual brilliance that no amount of formal training could replicate. He didn't just block the cow, he outthought it. He seemed to know its next move before it did, his ears pinned back in concentration, his muscles coiling and uncoiling like a powerful spring. Clara was barely moving the reins. She was just a quiet passenger, trusting her partner completely. Their connection was palpable, a silent conversation happening at lightning speed. The 2.5-minute timer felt like both an eternity and a fleeting moment. The heifer, thoroughly outmaneuvered, finally gave up, standing defeated in the center of the arena. The buzzer sounded, and for a second there was absolute silence. Then the arena erupted. It wasn't just polite applause. It was a roar. The same ranchers who had mocked her were now on their feet, their hats off, their faces a mixture of shock and awe. They hadn't just seen a good run. They had witnessed something extraordinary. As Clara rode out of the pen, her face flushed with emotion, she passed by the old rancher who had been the loudest of her critics. He tipped his hat, his eyes filled with a newfound respect. "That horse, young lady," he said, his voice gruff but sincere. "He's 1 in a million, and so are you." Clara couldn't help but smile. She patted Blaze's neck, his sides still heaving from the effort. "We did it, boy," she whispered. When the final scores were announced, it was no surprise. Clara and Blaze had not only won, they had set a new arena record. The prize money was hers. The ranch was safe. But as she accepted the gleaming trophy, Clara knew she had won something far more valuable. She had proven that heart and spirit could triumph over pedigree and prejudice. She had shown everyone that greatness isn't about where you come from, but about the bonds you forge and the courage you have to believe in the underdog. The story of the female rancher and her Mustang became a legend in the cutting world. It was a reminder that sometimes the wildest hearts have the most to teach us. Clara continued to compete, but she never forgot that first victory. It wasn't just about saving her ranch. It was about honoring the legacy of her father and the unbreakable spirit of a wild horse who showed the world that true champions are born not of bloodlines, but of trust, respect, and a little bit of untamed fire. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more inspiring content.